Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review, and this time, like I said for last time at Die Another Day, we were done with the Bonds. I'm gonna start going in the order of the films as I watch them, so basically, when we come full circle, that's gonna be when we get back to the action films and when we start the Bond films. So basically, that would mean, let's see, um, action, adventure, drama, war, horror, suspense, science fiction, family comedy. Okay, so we're gonna be ending things on comedic films, and then more than likely, depending on what new films I get and review in full session with the new films, I'll do a brand new thing when I see and get new films on DVD and video from what I either saw in the theater or to that. And we'll do this as well with television shows, because what I'll probably do is when I'm done with certain television shows, we'll probably just start from like a beginning there and like doing that, because I'm sort of starting to be like where I want to get in a lot of the shows that I have and things like that. Like I'm doing that with cartoons and whatnot. And I think what I'm going to do with the TV shows too is like watch a lot of the TV shows that I have to like rewatch and redo that, and then also do like a couple other things and stuff like that. But yes, regardless of that little side tangent, because I was thinking about that. I mean, we have a long ways to go, so very long ways to go before we get back to the majority of Bond films. And once again, I probably will try to review anime films again at some point. Probably redo some of those same old films that we have done before, and maybe do a bit of a better job or do a different type of review now that we have better setups, better things at our disposal, and such like that. Uh, Sorry, because like I said, we're on off the cuff, so sometimes I may forget, so apologies. I do have some notes and things up because I don't know everybody's character name or where they were at in the film when we talk about the plot, but John Wick is where we are at. So we are now getting into the other, like, adventure, well, not really adventure, but hardcore action films, because I consider, like, a Bond a good hardcore criminal action film. Same thing with John Wick. Like, not really cops involved, but, like, a very surreal, like, sort of, once again, spy, criminal underworld, honor amongst thieves, not so honor amongst thieves world with John Wick. And as everybody knows, this stars good old Keanu Reeves as John Wick in this film. Now, some of you may be groaning because I admit, I was in the camp of John Wick when this movie first came out. Like thinking, oh, it's another film where Keanu Reeves is trying to find, because I thought Keanu Reeves wasn't able to come back in a good style. I thought he was really trying to bite the bullet with this movie to try to find relevancy, like Constantine. I've seen part of Constantine. I know it's based off I think, what my friend said, a Dark Horse comic. If I'm wrong, leave something in the comments section if you guys want to, but I wasn't thrilled by Constantine. I wasn't thrilled by maybe a few of the films he did after that, because I thought basically, Keanu Reeves had let certain, egos with the Matrix and other things like that go to his head, and I hope my thing is doing okay. I don't know why I had... Yeah, I don't know why I had that little, the little Brits in there. I apologize for that. Don't know what caused that. I hope my computer is not having a problem. Now that I think about it, let's... Sorry, guys. Gotta check my files really quick. Just gotta check my files really quick, because I don't like how it did that. Let's see. Oh, whoopsie poopsies. Alright, well, hold on. Maybe that is a... I'm with it right now. Oh, whoops. So yeah, I don't want to do that, not when it's open. Okay, so that's probably what we're currently filming, but that could have been what was causing that right there. Because yeah, I saw a little joke on my thing, and I always try to make sure the stuff that I've done that I've already posted to YouTube gets deleted. If I ever need to refilm it, I will go back and refilm it, redo it, maybe give new thoughts or do the same old thing that I had recently did, and it's to that fact. So yeah, I'm sorry because I saw that and I was just alarmed by that. I'm like, no, 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 no. Do not want to have, because you guys have probably seen it. There's one video that I know I posted and I felt really bad about it because I wasn't into knowing how to edit all this stuff as good as I sort of am getting now. I know I could still use a lot of work, but I've gotten really good with the editing. And there's that video where it's like, so anyway, and I go back into my thing, and I was really upset by that. And I'll admit I'm embarrassed, but I am the type of guy who, as you guys see with a lot of my early work on YouTube, I leave a lot of my stuff in there because I either didn't have the tools or I, at the time, was ignorant and didn't care to fix them. Now I'm trying to get better at that, and I want to provide good quality for you guys, good quality of stuff. So, anyhow, like I said, with John Wick, did not think much of this movie. Did not think much of it at all when it first came out. And, thought it was, Keanu Reeves searching for relevancy, trying to get big. And then my little brother, believe it or not, I think it was about 2 years ago now, shows me this film. And, I told him I heard about it. I'd never seen it. He told me it was really good. He really sold me on this idea that I love the action, that the story's pretty good, that I'd actually like what they were doing with John Wick. So I sit down with him, I see it, I'm like, holy shit. This film is a return. To me, it's a return to the 80s action films like, Commando, Predator, Rambo, Terminator, any of the action films from the 80s, whether they had science fiction in them or not, the original James Bond from the 60s all the way up to probably all the ones that we reviewed into the 90s. Like, it was a return to a form of a genre we had not seen in a while. I know not everybody is for the guy or the spy or the man who can kill everybody, but the thing is, as long as you can have fun with it, very cool. And once again, this is why I say, I will say this now, because I know I'm going to talk about it with John Wick Chapter 3, because I will mention it, and it's one of the things that I hate that film people are doing. The reason why like a guy like Keanu Reeves films this role is because I believe it. I believe it. Now, I've seen the films Peppermint, I've seen a bit of Atomic Blonde, I've seen some of the ones where they have, and I'll admit, this causes me to lose some subscribers, or if I get demonetized for this, I hate to say this, guys, I really don't care. Seeing Jennifer Garner and Charlize Theron and any of these other women, they're trying, and I'll fit Brie Larson into this for Captain Marvel 2, trying to see them be these badass characters and say it's because almost, hey, we go through this crisis, and, like, they try to show, like, how that the story's moving, and I don't doubt that, there it is again, damn it, and I don't doubt that the story is moving, but, and that I don't buy the story, but it's like how they are able to accomplish their actions is just very, very unbelievable. Granted, nobody, woman or man, can be a one-man probably army, or that they can do these actual things. But what I also liked about John Wick and knowing the special features is that the director, Chad Stahelski, sorry, but Chad Stahelski, and the producers and even the stunt coordinators go through in this film how it's possible for John Wick to do his type of stuff. And hell, we knew Arnold and Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all those guys from back in their days, back in their primes and heydays, even Bruce Willis. These guys were legit built tough guys. It wasn't just the character. Like, you looked at these guys and you knew they could do what they could do. You know, I mean, it was there. It was there through their training, their acumen, their regimens. Hell, you know, Mel Gibson in the Mighty Max movies. You know, Mel Gibson looked at too. You know, The Patriot. All those different types of things. Now, not every actor has done an action film. But there's certain things that they do in certain movies where they're not taking out everybody, but, you know, they either show that skill that they go through because of the training or what they were able to do throughout the film. And then, you know, there's ones where, and even guys have this. So if you think I'm just attacking females and Charlize Theron and Jennifer Garner, no, I'm not. Because I know there's been movies where they've had guys be the main characters, and I don't believe some of the shit they're doing. Or hell, I'll even say, you know, the Dirty Harry films. What Gene Hackman and, what the hell's his name? Oh, Roy Scheider doing The French Connection. You know, Steve McQueen and Bullet. Roy Scheider again, and the 7-Ups. Yo, Clint Eastwood, I may have mentioned him already, so sorry if I'm repeating it again, but Clint Eastwood in the Dirty Harrys. Yes, they do things that are nigh impossible, but the way they are statured, and the way they took care of themselves in those days, and the way that either they were bodybuilders, or they were either physically fit, you know, they maybe weren't the most muscular, or strong and whatnot, but the way they took care of themselves made all the sense to me in the world how these guys could achieve this. Because if you're saying, if I could be one of those guys, no. If I was trying to be John Wick, Dirty Harry, any of those guys, I'd get my butt shot off probably in the first 5 minutes. You know, or if that, probably, let's say 30 seconds. But what I don't like about it that I will mention right now was stuff like this involving, you know, either the testosterone-fueled male who, you know, is the little Weasley guy who becomes top, you know, hot shit after that, like that, without no basis or build to the story, or the women they have for these things, like Charlize Theron in Atomic Blonde, or you know, Jennifer Garner and Peppermint, or even, I'll even say Halle Berry in John Wick 3, so I'll mention a little bit of her right now. You see how, because of their weight and size and preference, that the men that they use, the stunt doubles, are like doing things before the women have a chance to actually perform the moves. So you can tell that the men are moving with the women to perform the stunt. Usually what you want to do is the men are like relaxed or they do it, but you want to make the choreography believable as possible. And some of those films, the choreography isn't believable. Or you see how there's this strong friggin' big dude, and these women who are 100 to 200 pounds lighter than these guys can easily flip these guys over, kick them in the face, or do the, you know, the gun contests, or, you know, the gun fu, like that. And I'm like, I don't buy that. I know this is a movie, and we're supposed to be having fun with it, but I don't buy it. Now, granted, men like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Eastwood, Willis, and all them shouldn't have been able to bring down armies either. But because of their conditioning and how they looked, it made me believe it. Charlize Theron, Jennifer Garner, and even Halle Berry, I've never believed it. Now, like I said, I may have not have liked Halle Berry either in Die Another Day, but how they presented her as the special agent in Die Another Day was way different and more believable to me than what they did in John Wick Chapter 3. But we'll save that for Chapter 3. But I just wanted to mention that now because part of that's going to be coming up in this John Wick series. And I will mention that also with one of the characters in here, Adrian Palicki. I will mention that for this. But anyway, that's enough of me ranting at the moment. Let's get on with it. John Wick, once again, stars Keanu Reeves, is this man who recently has lost his wife. I'm gonna say they never really mentioned what disease or sickness she had. I think we all believe it's cancer, and so I'm gonna say she died from cancer or some illness similar to cancer, and he's going through a hard time trying to live his life. We sort of see how John Wick possibly has had this hard edge to him. Like, he's always wondered, like he has his hard edge, but we see photos of him and his wife and flashbacks of him and his wife having fun, where she's bringing the best out of him, he's bringing the best out of her. These are two very, very happy people. Then, then something happens to where she's sick, and I think she tells him in the flashback, John, live your life, be free, and I think she said, more importantly, don't lose yourself to what's happening to me. Keep yourself alive and be happy. Enjoy the rest of your life. Because John Wick was really breaking down and really distraught over his wife's death. He lost something that meant to him. Now, I think what happened is after the funeral, he runs into a friend of his named Willem Dafoe, character played by Willem Dafoe, named Marcus. Where Marcus says, "Hey John, we've been through a lot together. We're like friends, you and I. So if you ever need anything, come talk to me or call me, and I'll set you up and help you out." What happens is, as the film goes along, he heads home, and John Wick lives in this very nice mansion, and I'm gonna say it looks like right outside of, yeah, I'm gonna say right outside of New York City. Maybe even it's near. Sorry about that, guys. Dehydrated, but maybe it's also near Central Park, and it's this really nice mansion style, whole ton of glass, like lots of glass in this house, style house, like very, very interesting designs, very, very boxy to me, very boxy. But like, so we know this guy comes from some form of money, and what happens is he gets home. There's this man who delivers this package to him. I think it's about like maybe looks like 6 or 7 at night. Man delivers him this package. He reads this letter, which is a letter from his wife, and she's like, "Because you always need a little bit of loving, John," or something to that nature. You know, I think it was like a late birthday present or something to him. So he opens it up, and his wife got him, before her death. She got him this little dog. It's like this. It's like a little. I'm gonna say like either beagle or terrier dog. This very cute beagle or terrier dog. He's shocked by it first. Doesn't know what to think of it. It almost seems like he's revolted, but he breaks down and cries again. He doesn't know what to think of the dog. The dog's sort of looking at him sadly. He looks at the dog, and he embraces this dog as his best friend or even lover. It's actually, I know some people probably could have looked at that and thought this is really hokey. I thought it was a nice, tender moment for a man who we're getting the idea has just been breaking down from his wife's death. So it's a nice, tender moment, and you can sort of see within that moment his life possibly has meaning to what she wanted. Live your life, John. Don't go crazy because I'm not there, or don't lose yourself back into your old life because I'm not there. We can get that idea, but we still don't know what his old life is. So what happens is he goes around, oh, he takes his dog out in the morning, gets his dog food. I think it's a sheep dog food. So gets his dog food, takes then the dog to a parking garage. I think from the way it looks like by an old drag strip or maybe even an old airport. Takes out I think it's a Dodge Charger or something like that. I could be wrong. You guys can really hit on me if I'm wrong on that. Could be an old Pontiac too, but takes out this speedster car and just like zigzag zooms all over at high speeds, and that's Keanu Reeves really doing that, because Keanu Reeves went through all the training to do most of his own stuff as possible. You know, shooting, stunts, action scenes, fighting scenes. You know, all this really good, really good stuff. And just like, you know, he has that awesome moment with his dog, and then he comes upon a gas station to where he's telling his dog to wait there. You know, he's gassing up. The dog's, you know, just happily, you know, waiting for him, tongue and all the cute things. And then all of a sudden, we see these seedy-looking men come up. They almost look like gangsters, and there's Russian music playing, and, you know, they're getting out of the car. They're sort of like hooping and hollering and being all obnoxious and almost acting to the point of danger. John Wick is just ignoring them, and I believe, yeah, it is him who does it. Let's see here. It's Yosef Tarasov who comes up. We don't know that's who that is yet, but he's played by Alfie Allen, and he's basically saying, you know, hey man, how much for the car? John Wick is saying, the car, is it for sale? And he's like, come on, man, it's got to be worth something. So he's bugging John Wick about it now. John Wick, I think, gets a real quick stern look, and he's like, the car is not for sale. Sorry. So he just, you know, takes off and goes. A couple of Yosef's friends are looking on, just wondering what the heck's going on and why that was being, but they're always saying, you know, hey, Yosef, do you have a plan or something? So, you know, it becomes night, you know, they get home, John Wick feeds his dog again, you know, they're having few moments together, then they both head to bed. I think it's around 2 in the morning the next day where John Wick's dog wakes up, you know, this little puppy as it could, goes down and, you know, goes downstairs. You know, John Wick's wondering, hey, he wakes up. He's like, hey, what's wrong? Where are you going? And so he goes downstairs, and what happens is he finds the dog. The dog is like looking at something, I think, near the door or near one of his pillars. And I think what happens is John Wick sees this guy start to come out of nowhere. He's about to say, hey, you know, what are you doing here? And then he gets hit in the back of the head with a steel pipe, I believe, or at least back of the head, top of the back, but gets hit with the steel pipe. He goes down, he's hurt, you know, and like he starts getting kicked, and we hear it's the voice of Yosef, and he realizes it's that guy he met at the gas station. And what happens is he's getting crapped on and kicked on and beaten up, and you know the little puppy, you know, is scared, trying to get near him, and it's also barking at the guys. And Yosef tells one of his friends, you know, shut the dog up. So one of his friends goes and, you know, whacks the dog with the steel pipe, killing it instantly. I didn't know if he killed it or not, but yeah, my little brother told me, and after seeing the film, you could tell with how the dog whimpers and how they don't show the dog getting full on hit, but you can tell with the sound and everything they use. It's cringe in the way that's good for the story, but it's very sad because how could anyone do that to a very nice dog like John Wick's first dog? I mean, I mean, it's really upsetting and sad seeing how that happens, and it's just like, you know, just like, ugh, terrible, terrible stuff. So what happens is they kill the dog. They keep attacking John Wick. I think they knock John Wick out. I think they steal some things from his house, and then they also go and steal his car right from the garage. They take his car, and what happens is you have John Wick regain consciousness. He finds his dog, and what happens is you know, he has this look of, sorry, I was like just looking at things, wanted to show you guys again. He has this look on his face of just rage and boiling over because his last gift from his wife to keep his quote unquote sanity in check in some certain ways, or at least to have his life have some form of meaning and not be completely alone, was taken from him. the last gesture of his wife and one of his last loves connected to his wife as well as the dog is both dead. So he's set off the rails. And I know once again people could say that is a ridiculous premise for this movie to have, but at the same time, when you're that alone, and when things that have meaning to you when you're that alone get taken from you, sometimes people can snap. And considering how Yosef was an idiot and a complete thug in this situation, and merciless thug at that, I mean, I'm surprised, him and his friends didn't kill John Wick, but once again, that was their mistake. But, I mean, it was like, holy crap, these guys are jackasses of the highest order. So, as it happens, John Wick buries his dog. He starts going into his basement where he picks up a sledgehammer and starts sledgehammering his floor. Like he's sledgehammering his floor, trying to open up an entire compartment underneath his floor. And what happens is, he like gets under there and there's a trap door. Now, one moment, guys. I have to use the bathroom. I will be right back. Hey guys, I'm back once again. Apologies about that, but yeah, I had to go. And then what happens is we have Yosef we see a couple other scenes while John Wick is breaking into this basement. We see where Yosef goes to a chop shop, and in this chop shop, is being run by let's see, do they have him on here? I think they sort of did, or did they not? Oh no, there he is. Yeah, this chop shop run by a man named Aurelio, who is played by John Leguizamo. And, like he gets there, Yosef says that he has a new car for Aurelio, and Aurelio's like, well, okay, let's take a look at it. Aurelio looks it over really quick, and then he gets a shocked look on his face, and he tells Yosef, he's like, come here, come here. And then I think he slaps Yosef right in the face, and he's like, where'd you get this car? And Yosef's like, well, we stole this from a nobody down near this place, and blah, blah, blah. And, they're just like, they're almost getting ready to attack Aurelio, but Aurelio says, do you know whose car this is? And then, they all start laughing and say, like, I think Yosef or one of his friends say, what's the big deal? And Aurelio goes, this is John Wick's car. And then they all get the shocked look on their face as they, like, heard the name. But, they're trying to laugh it off, thinking, like, it's no big deal because they may not know the whole story. And what happens is I think Aurelio's like, I'm not going to sell you full price for this car. I think, because I don't know if Aurelio, I can't remember if Aurelio told them to just get out and leave and he'll keep the car, or if he, I think what he did was, I don't think he did that. I think he gave Yosef a little bit of money for his trouble, and then he's like, just go, get out of here now. You have no idea what you've done. And so Yosef and his friends leave. And what happens is we see, John Wick getting further into his basement. And when he gets into this basement area, or where he's like using the sledgehammer in his basement, comes this hidden compartment right at the very bottom of the foundation. And he opens up this trap door at the bottom of the foundation where there is all this gold, passports, tickets, guns, lots and lots of guns, and some various gadgets and gear. And so you're like, whoa, who is this dude? As you're thinking, and then you have Yosef return to his father's place, and you find out that his father is Vigo Tarasov, who is actually a Russian crime boss in New York. So he's like part of a Russian mafia movement in New York, and he's played by Michael Nyquist. And he's like saying like, what's all these different things going on? Because all of a sudden, I think he's having a fun time. He's going over with his assistant, who is, which I'll mention this guy because you guys are gonna kick out of this. Where is he? His assistant. Where is it? I know he's here. Not you. Oh yes, his assistant Avi, played by Dean Winters, who is the Allstate insurance guy. Because the Allstate insurance guy, Avi, or the Allstate insurance guy is Avi Dean Winters. Because when I first saw the film, I kept wondering about that. I didn't ask about it. The film came on TV one night when I was at home with my folks, and I literally asked my mom, "Is that the Allstate insurance guy who plays Avi?" And she's like, "Yeah, Dean Winters is the Allstate insurance guy." And I'm like, "Wow, the Allstate insurance guy is in, John Wick. Too bad he ain't providing the mayhem in this one." Oh, I just thought that was a hoot that Dean Winters is the Allstate insurance guy and he was playing Avi, Vigo Tarasov's assistant in John Wick, or lawyer, or whatever Avi was. So what happens is Vigo gets a call. Vigo has a shocked look on his face, wondering what happens. His son Yosef comes in, starts pouring a Russian vodka, drinks it, and he's like, "Son, let me tell you something." And then he gut punches him in the gut to where, Yosef pukes out all the vodka he just drank, and he's rolling around on the ground in pain. And his father's like, "What the hell have you done? What the hell have you done? Do you realize who stole that car from, killed his dog?" And then, he goes over the story of John Wick, how John Wick was probably, or no, not John Wick isn't probably, he's one of the best assassins in the criminal underworld. When anyone had a job, they went to John Wick. He was nigh unstoppable. People say they said he could kill people multiple of ways. And one running joke that's been throughout, I think, all three films, and you actually see it in the second one too, which I'll go over, is that he apparently killed 3 men with a pencil, which shocks the hell out of everybody because they always say, who does that? A lot. One of the names that John Wick had is the Boogeyman, which in Russian they call him Baba Yaga, which that's, I guess, the Boogeyman in Russian. But that's John Wick's codename almost. He's the Boogeyman. He's the thing that nightmares are made up for other people, whoever he had a job against. And what happens is you have Vigo, admonishing his son, saying, "You did something so stupid. You shouldn't have stole that car. You shouldn't have broken into his place, killed his dog. You have no idea how you just did that." And once again, I know this could probably be a hindrance for me on my videos, but I'll just say it because he's like, "You have no idea how you just fucked things up." So, it was a huge scene, and hell, you just look at that and you can definitely tell that John Wick practically is a boogeyman, because that's not a man you want to screw with. So, as John Wick's getting ready to take his guns and possibly use whatever his connections that he may still have in the underworld, he gets a call on his secret phone, quote unquote, that's in his basement, where I guess he would take the contract calls. He picks up, Vigo's calling him. Vigo and John Wick do have a history together, where John Wick, I think, did some jobs for Vigo and whatnot. And Vigo is trying to calm John down, saying, "Hey, John, my son messed up, didn't mean to steal your car, and it was only a dog. Let's hope we can get past this." And John Wick is just listening, doesn't say anything, takes the phone and hangs up. And Vigo's like, "Crap. We got to kill this guy." And then he looks over to Avi and he's like, "How many men do we send? Or do we have?" And I think Avi mentions the number, I forget what the number is, and Vigo's like, "Send all of them." So what happens is John Wick gets his guns, he gets into a nice suit that he's sort of wearing right there that you've seen on the cover, and he's or no, I forgot. He's not in his suit yet, but he's like, yeah, he's gotten his guns. He goes upstairs, and all of a sudden, as he's starting to get things ready, he sees these guys come out of nowhere getting near his house. And then all of a sudden, in a great action scene throughout his house, just takes out all these guys, uses I think it's Muay Thai, they say, for the fighting scenes. Muay Thai, precision shooting, like, of all types of guns. Like, for this one, I think he just uses his handgun. I have no idea what the handgun is. I'm not all the way gun savvy, but uses his handgun to take all these guys out, uses his Muay Thai, his kitchen knives. So you can tell John Wick had the training to be this type of person, and holy shit does he take out all of them. And as it continues, takes out all the guys, kills them all, and then all of a sudden a cop buddy who knows him, who I don't know if, I mean, I believe this guy knows John Wick used to be an assassin. I don't think he knows to the extent, but like what happens is this cop guy shows up, there's all the dead bodies like laying around in his house, and like there's one in the hallway that he was fighting that he puts a knife through, and in a very brutal fashion, by the way. And all of a sudden, the cop opens the door and he's like, "Hey, John," and John's like, "Hey, we have a noise complaint." Yeah, that's about it. Sort of sees that guy on the floor. John, you working again? Something like that. Everything okay? Yeah, it's alright. Alright, John. Have a good night. And so the cop leaves, takes his word for it and leaves, like, hey, does what he does. And then John Wick calls a cleaner, who the cleaner is played by one of the guys from the Warriors, one of the gang members from the Warriors. I forget his name, but yeah, he's played by one of the not the Warriors themselves. I forget they were the guys in the leather jackets. He was the main guy who killed I think it was Cyrus. What the heck was his name? I wish I could remember. Was that who it was? Was it David Patrick Kelly? Yeah, I think. Yeah, let me look at that. Let me look it up really quick, because like I say, I do have the thing here. I think that's who. Okay, I do think that is. I do think that is correct, because. Yep, that's who it is. David David Patrick Kelly, who also played who also played Jerry, not Jerry Leningard, Jerry Horn in Twin Peaks, and he was who the heck was he in? I think it's was it the 70s? Yeah, I think it was the Luther. Wow, that was his very first movie in the Warriors. His name was Luther, and he also played Luther in, I forgot, 48 Hours was an original movie. I'll have to try to find that. Oh, Sully Commando, yeah. Oh, he was in Ghost Rider? Holy crap. So sorry, I'm like checking out all these things. I know I'm getting like up with it, but yeah, that's who it was. David Patrick Kelly, who played the cleaner, and so they sorry, I didn't mean to get locked up there, but yeah, David Patrick Kelly played the cleaner. He comes in, helps him get rid of the bodies. They clean up the house, and it's like John gives him a bit of the gold because this secret gold is their currency that this criminal underworld organization uses. This secret gold for paying off people, controlling things, payments to that. And what happens is you have like John Wick getting ready to go out to leave his home to go where he needs to go because he's going to go try to find his connections. And where you can find your big name main connections is the Continental Hotel. So he heads to the Continental and, you know, yeah, heads there to, dig up information on Vigo, Yosef, finding out where Yosef is, and all these different things because, he wants vengeance for not only his car being stolen, but more importantly, his dog being killed. And while this is going on, you have Vigo going throughout the city, and he tells two assassins who he'd killed. He talks when John Wick gets to the Continental, talks to the hotel manager, and the name is also Charon, who's played by Lance Riddick, who's happy to see him back, and there's all these other old faces who are happy to see John Wick back, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not fully back. It's just personal business," and they're just all like doing these different things and whatnot. You have plug about. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, you have all these different guys like noticing. Some are happy, some are ticked that he's back. But you have one assassin who's played by Adrian Palicki. And what's her name? What's the character of Adrian Palicki? Oh, I closed it down, or did I? No, I closed it down. Hold on, gotta get back up because, like I say, I want to know who these characters are. Dang it, how did I do that? Give me a moment, guys. I apologize. I'm not trying to be difficult with this review anyway. I don't think I am. I mean, sort of lost my track of thought just a small little bit, but let's see. Oh, her name is Miss Perkins. And Miss Perkins gets the call to where, Vigo puts a contract out on John Wick from Miss Perkins, and she's obviously looking like she's gonna take it. She's teasing John Wick, saying certain things to him, and you get this idea that she's gonna be up to no good. You also have Vigo literally go to Marcus's house. Once again played by Willem Dafoe. Goes to Marcus's house saying, John Wick is after me. I heard you're a good assassin yourself. You're good with your sniper rifle and everything. Could you take care of him? Marcus agrees somewhat. You can see he's hesitant about this, but he agrees, and he goes into a cabinet to where he's taking out his sniper rifles. He's got his gold for the Continental or anything else that he particularly needs. And what happens is, he's at the hotel trying to find information, and he actually digs up some information while at the hotel to where Yosef is. And Yosef is at this, I think it's the Red Circle Club. It's a club owned by Vigo and his men where Yosef is hiding out away from John Wick. And John Wick is there, he's in his nice suit as always. He's trying to get into this place. And as he's trying to get in, he runs into a man named Francis, who's the doorman, which just puts a gun to the doorman's head, and he's like, "How you doing, Francis?" "I'm fine, Mr. Wick." And he's like, "Why don't you take the night off, Francis?" "Thank you, Mr. Wick." So, like, John Wick isn't just a heartless assassin. He does have friends within the society and people he doesn't want to kill if they don't have to be in his way. So John Wick is actually a very merciful person, too, provided nothing completely bad happens to these quote-unquote these people don't do anything bad to him, he leaves them be. And, like, Francis knew him, he knew Francis, so there was once again that understanding, sort of like between him and Vigo, the people between him and the Continental Hotel, and all that other good stuff. And oh, dear me, how do I forget the manager of the hotel who helps him find out where Yosef is played by Ian McShane, whose name is Winston, who is a regular character throughout these movies too. And Ian McShane helped him put him on his way to find Yosef. So, John Wick gets into the club. We see Yosef, like, screwing around, having fun. He's with some ladies in this type of bathhouse in the basement of the Red Circle Club. Just screwing around there, having fun. Yosef's guard, played by Daniel Bernhardt, by the name of is it Kurilli or Kirill? Oh, Kirill, played by Kirill, is there, and he's telling Yosef, to take this seriously, be on your guard. You don't know what John Wick can do. We have all heard stories. I've even seen what he can do. This guy's a monster. You better be afraid and more, on your guard about this. But, Yosef's not thinking of it. And also, I'm going to say on a side note here, Daniel Bernhardt wanted to really be in this film because he wanted to have another awesome fight scene with Keanu Reeves. He wanted to work with Keanu Reeves again. And he was happy because Kirill will get the upper hand in this film on him as well, temporarily. So what happens is John Wick tells Francis to leave. Francis does leave. John Wick heads to the basement of the club to where he starts taking out guys. Kirill and his men are watching on the cameras. They don't see him. John Wick takes out a couple of guys. Or no, he takes out Yosef's friend Victor first by taking out one guy, and I think he stabs him in the head, and then he basically like takes Victor, breaks I think his ankle or knee, or hurts him really bad there, and then he's like trying to drown Victor in the sink water that he was like fixing himself up with, and he is trying to drown Victor in the water. Victor, gurgling in the water, says "fuck you" to John Wick, just after he gives John Wick the information. John Wick basically snaps his neck, kills him, heads to the basement bathhouse, starts taking out all the men, and then another guard stops John Wick from getting to Yosef. They go clamoring outside, and they're fighting, and Kirill and the men see this. They're trying to get to the bottom of the bathhouse. Yosef is there. He's almost trying to get out, trying to get away. And like the coward that he is, because he really is afraid of John Wick, he takes a girl by the stomach. He's holding her like in front of him to not have him get shot. Shoves her out of the way. John Wick's trying to get to him, but other men get in his way, and like they're stopping him a little bit. But he's like taking him out with all his guns and the gun fu and the martial arts, and almost has Yosef a couple times, but gets away, gets into the club area, where it gives us two awesome club songs. It's the first one is called LED Spirals, and then LED Spirals and Shots Fired. And the score to this is done by it's where is it? It's Tyler Bates and Joel J. Richard. They do the score for this movie, but LED Spirals is also done by European artist Le Castlevania 2, and two great score techno songs. What the heck could I say? Two really great songs that really filled the action well for the scenes that were just non-stop, awesome and just a thrill as he was taking out all these people in the club and just thrilling scenes. I mean, I can't even talk about them in full detail because there's just a lot that happened. And it's just a heck of a thrill ride. So it takes out all these guys using everything at his disposal, takes them all out. Oh, and I forgot to say too, the song of the bathhouse is also done by Think by Kaleda, and that is another really good song. I mean, it's almost really cool because it's like it like talks about and foreshadows on like John Wick's obsession with Yosef and how Yosef has never gotten him out of his mind too. So it was a nice mise en scène moment for both characters. So what happens is Yosef's getting away. He has one of his friends have him get in a car and say, you know, he gets away. One of his friends gets him in a car. He takes off. John Wick is taking out all these guards. So far, so good. But then he runs into Kirill. Like Kirill has him back up against the wall. They're using all their guns. Both their guns run out of ammo. You have John Wick and Kirill do both of their martial arts and Muay Thai moves. They're both trying to get at each other. Kirill gets the upper hand to where he lifts John Wick up and literally tosses John Wick over. Because, like, John Wick was on a second balcony type thing, and Kirill throws him off this balcony to where John Wick lands back first on the floor to where you can see where he's messed up by being thrown, but he still has enough vigor and moves to get away from the people because I think they were trying to track down where Yosef was, and I don't know if Kirill didn't see where John Wick went or the other men didn't see where he went if they were trying to track down Yosef. But John Wick gets away, heads back to the hotel. He's all like messed up and bloody, and I think he did get a few. They did get one good shot on him. Didn't know where he got shot. I think it was like the side or something, but yeah, he got shot somewhere, and he's hurt, and he's getting fixed up by a doctor, a continental doctor, who is played by Randall Duck Kim, which, if you guys remember, he is the key maker in the Matrix Reloaded, and throughout the John Wick series, you see a lot of the somewhat of the Matrix cast make their return. In this one, you have Randall Duck Kim in there, Daniel Bernhardt, who played Agent Johnson in The Matrix Reloaded. Lawrence Fishburne shows up in the second one. All you need is sort of Carrie-Anne Moss to make a thing, and maybe even see if you can get Joe Pantoliano in one of these films, and then you have all the major main characters for the Matrix movies, showing up. Hell, maybe, I know they had Halle Berry, but hell, maybe even see if you can get Jada Pinkett Smith, and Smith, baby, if you can, because I know Jada Pinkett, I mean, she's a great actress, but Jada Pinkett she's a little, in my opinion, personally nutty, but, we'll see what goes on. I mean, it would just be cool if they could get more, but yet, I wouldn't want him throwing in there just for the heck of it. I'd like the cameo or their role in the film to make sense, like Lawrence Fishburne's role makes sense, and Randall Duck Kim's, and, Daniel Bernhardt's. It's like they're not just there, they actually have a part to play. So, he's getting fixed up by the doctor. Doctor fixes him up. John Wick actually takes a nap on the bed, and we see how Miss Perkins breaks into his room, and she's slowly trying to get to his room where I think she was, I don't know, I think she was going to garrote him, because I know she had some wire on him. But what happens is you also have Marcus right outside his room to where he's looking like he's aiming a bullet with his sniper rifle right at his head, and what happens is Marcus has it pointed right at his face, but then he has it go up a little bit to where he shoots the pillow, which wakes John Wick up to where he sees Miss Perkins there, and Miss Perkins, she jumps at him, tries to shoot him, he gets out of dodge, or sort of like shooting at each other. Not much happens with their bullets. They both run out of bullets, and then she gets on his back. She's trying to strike him, kick him, do whatever she can, because they admit in the movie that given Adrian Palicki's size and strength, she would not be able to handle John Wick in a traditional fighting matter. Because she's more of a rough and tough boxer type and whatnot. I mean, she can do martial arts, but she knows where she's at right now. She can't utilize them the best, so she's on top of him, trying to choke him with his legs, hitting him in the side, and all the places where he had a wound, and like doing what he can. So she's like, they describe the scene as a Hellcat, or monkey scene, where she's like all over him, using whatever advantage she can. He eventually throws her like against the wall, throws her against stuff, but she keeps trying to fight back as best she can. It gets to the point where they both come out of crashing through John Wick's door, and John Wick has her down on the ground. He's got a gun pointed at her. He doesn't kill her. Tells her. I think Miss Perkins tells him that Yosef put the name out on the contract, or not Yosef, Vigo put the name out on the contract for her to kill him, and he's like, okay. And what happens is you have one of John Wick's friends, I think his name is Harry, this old but yet strong, sturdy-looking African-American guy, black guy, comes out and says, hey, John, you're working again? Sort of right now at the moment. And he's like, got a problem there? Would you mind helping me with this? So what happens is John Wick, John Wick, gets the information from Miss Perkins about where Vigo is, and to get to Vigo, to get Vigo to give up where his son Yosef is hiding, he goes to one of Vigo's fronts for like banks and money and info and vaults, which is disguised as a church, and also Harry is holding Miss Perkins. What sucks about Harry is, Miss Perkins is tied up, handcuffed to the back of the chair. She sort of breaks out of the handcuffs, knocks Harry down and kills Harry in the Continental Hotel by shooting him in the head through a pillow. And what happens is, I forgot to explain this about the Continental Hotel, and Winston makes it clear that, when you're at the Continental Hotel, it's a safe zone for all criminals, no matter who you're chasing or going after. No violence can be conducted on Continental Hotel grounds all over the world. And so, she killed Harry and tried attacking John Wick there. So that's twice now that Miss Perkins broke the rules, and she's thinking she's getting away scot-free with it all and whatnot. And, she's going to go try to find John Wick and help take out John Wick still. But like I said, John Wick gets to this establishment, which is owned by Vigo. He goes in, takes out whatever guards were there, tries to talk to the priest, shoots the priest, I think, in the leg or somewhere. And the priest is like, you have no idea what you're doing. And John Wick's like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. And he's like, I'm going to destroy and burn all this. And he tells the women who were there working on the stuff to get out. Any guys that were truly there, he asks them to get out who weren't being violent towards him. Kills any other remaining guards. And basically sets fire and destroys all of Vigo's operations. Vigo gets there. The priest is still alive. Kills the priest for mucking up, basically. And, John Wick starts attacking Vigo from where he is. Kirill's there, trying to fend him off, help him off, and, they're basically fighting each other there and whatnot, and just, destroying each other. John Wick sort of has an upper hand, but then the men start to overwhelm him, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, is John Wick's firing with an automatic rifle. You have this car come out of nowhere, hit John Wick in the side, taking him out, and it hits him so bad to where it doesn't kill him, but it messes him up and even knocks him out. And we're at this warehouse where Kirill, Avi, and Vigo have tied John Wick up with a few of his other men, like Vigo's saying, John, I know you're trying to get to my son, and I know he did a bad thing. I tried warning you about this, but what you destroyed in that church was priceless information, John. Money, everything that was there. You fucked that up for me. You messed it up for me. You don't know what you've done. And like, so he is livid at John Wick, saying that his thing for vengeance like messed all this up. You know, you couldn't let it go. You had to have it. You messed it up, so now I'm gonna make your life a living hell. And John Wick says probably one of the best lines in the first film, saying, you know, people keep asking me if I'm back, if I've returned, you know, and I always denied it. I didn't want to say anything, but given what I've been through in the last day and a half, 2 days, yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna start to think I'm back. And what happens is, you know, Vigo is like, you know, you couldn't just let it go. Now we have an unpleasantness, and now you're going to force me to kill you. So, you know, Vigo and Avi and the rest of them, you know, take their leave. I think Kirill and another guy stay there. You know, they start putting, I think they put a plastic bag over John Wick's head. You know, John Wick is starting to suffocate, and what happens is, you know, while he's suffocating, there's this other random shot that comes in. You know, dude gets shot and goes down, he's dead. You know, John Wick gets the bag off his head, basically moves towards the other guy, kills him, I think, with the handcuffs and the chair that he was tied to somehow, I forget, but takes out that guy. You know, he's able to get away just in time to where he I think he gets this rocket launcher or bazooka or something, and he shoots it at Vigo's car. Vigo's driver gets killed, and Vigo veers off the road, but he's luckily still alive. You know, John Wick is right there by the car. Vigo has his hands up. He's like, wait, what do you want? And John Wick's like, I want Yosef, you know, give me the location. So, you know, Vigo sadly concedes, and like he gives John Wick the location of Yosef. You know, Yosef we see is at this abandoned like apartment area. You know, he has a friend in there playing a action video game. Go figure to this movie. And you know, like Yosef is all worried. You know, he has guards inside. He has guards outside. We have John Wick going around, taking out all the guards on the outside one by one, takes out another guy who had a rifle, and then he starts, like, takes out his friend who was playing the video game, guards inside, try to get Yosef out, few guards go down inside. The last guard and Yosef get down into the garage to where the last guard goes down, all the cars that Yosef was going to try to use to get away blow up from John Wick, and Yosef is looking for John Wick. Yosef gets I think one gun shot, and you know Yosef is struggling, and he like gets up, and you know like he's slowly looking up at John Wick, and you know you see Yosef in Russian basically say it was just a fucking, you know, like he just gets that because he was gonna say it was just a fucking dog, but he doesn't even finish. He's like it was just a fucking, you know, and then John Wick just like kills him, puts a bullet in his head, and then what happens is after that he shows up and he runs into Marcus, I think, right at the Brooklyn Bridge, and Marcus admits that he was helping John Wick out, and John Wick says he appreciates it. You know, you didn't need to do this, and he's like, hey, you know, you and I are friends. What are friends for? And I don't know. I don't think that's exactly what they said, but that's basically the gist of what Marcus and John Wick got at. What happens is, you know, John Wick leaves. I believe he starts to head back to his own home. And then, you know, Marcus is heading to his home, and then Marcus runs into Miss Perkins, Avi, and Vigo, and they lead Marcus into his house. Marcus is worried, you know, wondering what's going on, you know, that he's been found out. Miss Perkins basically discovered that Marcus was helping John Wick out, so she ratted him out, and they, you know, start to beat up Marcus, you know, brutally beating him, and all those other different things. And, you know, they're like hurting him, like breaking his fingers. Like Vigo puts one of his cigars, I think. I forget if it's on the face or the chest, but puts a cigar in the face, his cigar on his chest or his face, burns him with that. You also have where like John Wick gets this call from Vigo saying, I know you and Marcus were working together. Once again, John, yeah, I know your dog was killed, but you've ruined most of my operations. You've killed my son. We can't stand for this. So now I'm going to take another friend of yours and Marcus. And, you have John Wick trying to turn the car around, try to get back to Marcus to help him out. And then Vigo hangs up the phone with John and he goes, well, Marcus, this is the end. All you had to do was I paid you to kill him. And he couldn't kill John Wick. Why did you betray me? And then I forget the reason that Marcus said, and I think it had something to do with like an honor and duty and friendship sort of thing. I wish I could remember the line, but I can't fully remember the line. But then he's like, Vigo's like, well, no, it's time to take you out. And, Vigo and Marcus is like, no, you know what? I'm going to go out my way. So basically, I think he had a knife on him really quick. I think he stabs one guard, takes a gun, shoots another guard, shoots one more, shoots the third, and it looks like he's getting ready to shoot Vigo or Miss Perkins, but Miss Perkins takes out her gun, shoots him, I think, like twice in the chest, and then all of a sudden, Vigo's sort of laying down, like Vigo comes over to him with his own gun, and, Marcus looks up at him and he's smiling with bloody teeth, and he's like, see? And then Vigo, like, I think, shoots Marcus over and over again with the gun, they, Miss Perkins takes off her own way. Vigo and Avi head to this airfield. What happens is you also have John Wick get to Marcus's house. He knows Marcus is dead, and he starts going after Vigo. To that point, you have Miss Perkins. I think walking near Central Park, and Winston shows up, and she's like, Miss Perkins, we know you betrayed the Continental Ground Rules, and there's only one thing left for that. And what happens is all these men come out of nowhere with silenced pistols, and they shoot up Miss Perkins, killing her, so she's dead for betraying the Continental Grounds. And obviously, you could probably say that was a double whammy for her working with Vigo in the first place. So you have John Wick getting to Vigo and Avi. Like their men are getting taken out. You have John Wick in this car, not his own car, but it's a different car that he found. Or no, it was a car that he was. Oh yeah, it was a car that he was given. I think I don't know if it was by Aurelio or Winston, but it was one of the two. He got a car from one of the two of them, and he's using it like, this is where the car foo comes into play, where he like runs into Vigo's car, takes people out, and then like, Vigo's men get out of their own cars, and like they're using cars to veer others off the road into the moats near the ocean and all these different things. And you have like John Wick taking out guards who are going over the hood, John Wick shooting them with guns to the hood, taking out people with the front of the car, side of the car, running them over with the wheels, so car foo. So using the car as like a type of acrobatic thing, killing people. So hey, cool, pretty stuff. Pretty cool how they went over through that too. And once again, most of it was done by Keanu Reeves. Some of it was done by stunt doubles, of course, because they don't want Keanu Reeves getting hurt as much as he loves to do it his own and knows how to do it quite well. But, they did have some stunt doubles in the cars to do some of the things that they needed him to do. And so, John Wick takes out all the different guys. You have Avi and Vigo being the only two that were left. And Avi's like, can I have a gun? And Vigo is like losing it at this point. He's laughing because of how John Wick never gives up. He can't leave him alone, can't get away from him. So, Vigo gives Avi a gun, and he's like, here you go, Avi. Good luck. And, like, I think Avi even says, you fucking mad Russian or something, because he's so pissed off at Vigo, because he just wants to get out of there. And then all of a sudden, you have Avi, like, trying to sort of shoot his way out of John Wick, and then, John Wick is coming at him, and then I think he sort of like hits him with the car and like he hits him and crushes him with the car to where Avi's like winning into the window and he slowly dies because his body's been crushed by John Wick's car. And then Vigo is trying to still make it to his boat because he like called a boat to pick him up from the ocean, from the wharf, to take him away. And what happens is John Wick catches up with Vigo to where those two have one last standoff with each other to where they're both, fighting with their martial arts. I think Vigo has a knife, and Vigo stabs um, John Wick with his knife, and then I think John Wick takes the same knife, takes it out of him, wrestles with Vigo, and I think he stabs Vigo full on into the chest, and Vigo's like, I think Vigo says dying, why did it have to be this way, John? Why did it have to be this way? And like Vigo dies, John Wick is all messed up and bleeding because of his stab wound and all the other fights he had to do taking out Vigo and his men. So what happens next is you have John Wick like he's sort of like out of it, looks like he's dying, but then he sees like the picture of his wife on his phone, struggles to get back up, gets to his feet, heads to a veterinarian place to where he falls in to the veterinarian place, takes whatever he can for needles and like medical wrapping, and like sews up his own wound that Vigo stabbed him with, sews up his wound, uses the medical stuff to repair himself, and then he sees this pit bull dog of his, and his pit bull dog, no, sees his pit bull dog, takes a shine to it, and then he takes the dog out of the cage, and he walks away with his dog. So it's like, hey, and all that other, hey, and all that other good stuff. So that's how the movie ends, with him walking away with his dog. Didn't think there would be a sequel, but there is, and it sort of like starts off within that big, huge way. So, righty, ighty, diddly-o. So, this has been John Wick. Like I said, high-octane action film. Like, once again, the story isn't all that moving, but the story is interesting, and the characters are interesting. It keeps you coming back. It gives an interesting idea of the criminal underworld, everything that Keanu Reeves does as John Wick is mwah. And it's funny how a late 40s actor, now an actor in his 50s, has done all this stuff, looked all this good, and is just taking care of himself on a great way that he could still do this. He has admitted by John Wick Chapter 3 or John Wick Chapter 2 that some of this stuff is taking a toll on him, so who knows how long he's going to be able to do this type of thing, but he did this well and was good for the character, and I really think John Wick got Keanu Reeves back to form. It got him back to form to what he could have done, because my first favorite Matrix movie is the first one, because he had personality, he had character in that one. 2 and 3, it sort of became robotic. I know that's just me, but his acting in that, whether that was him or the Wachowski brothers, just became robotic, and that soured me on Keanu Reeves. This one has gotten me back into Keanu Reeves. So, John Wick is an excellent, excellent movie. If you guys like non-stop high-octane action and just like crazy stuff that you don't think would be possible, but actually is made possible by what Keanu Reeves is able to do in this movie, then you're in absolute luck, because this film is like a true return to the 80s and 90s action film genre. So let me know what you guys think of John Wick down below. Is it something you like? Do you still think, after all I explained, this film is ridiculous to you? Because I know I can't do it justice, but the action scenes do so much that I can't explain it properly. And, it'd be really hard. And, that would just take up a lot more time. We'd probably be here for a complete hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just describing what we would see in those action scenes. So, just let me know down below what you think of John Wick, because I love this film. I give this film a solid 8 out of 10 for the action, for the decent story, and just for everything that goes on. So, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below and just let me know, alright? So, until then, this has been 012 Boku, almost messed up there, 012 Boku, coming at you with another movie review, alright? Later, guys. Deuces.